A lot of people think that Woodward starts out in Oakland County. That's a lie. Woodward starts right here in the heart of the city on Jefferson. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Episode 1, Streets of Detroit. We on Woodward Avenue, right at Cadillac Square. I'm going to take you through every major important street of Detroit, let you know its significance, a little bit of history behind it, and what it is today. Also, we're going to talk about some spots you want to visit, a couple of spots you probably should avoid. Now, who better to take you along this journey than one of the biggest ambassadors for the city itself?
The street looked like this in 1921, and a decade later, the Majestic was known as the House of Talking Pictures.
One of the reasons why I'm starting off with Woodward is because I feel like there's no more important street than M1. It's the north-south state trunk line that divides East and West Detroit. Woodward runs from Jefferson, downtown Detroit, all the way to Pontiac, which is a northern suburb of Oakland County. One of the important things to know is that if you're driving down the Lodge Freeway, and you come up on Jefferson, a couple of years ago, you used to be able to come up and make a left turn right on the Woodward. You can't do that anymore. Ever since they built the Q line, they've completely closed off the entrance from where Woodward starts and made it available for you to be able to walk. So it's more of a walkable path now at the start of it, and you usually see a lot of activity there.
So today we have a Wear Orange event going on today downtown Detroit, and Wear Orange was started in 2013 when Hadia Pendleton was shot in Chicago at the age of 15 years old. And we wear orange to remember her because that's what her friends did after she had died. So we also wear orange to remember all of those who have died by gun violence in America, because over 100 plus people die per day because of gun violence. So we want to remember those people.
There's a ton of people that live in the city that know nothing about the city. I know so many people that's lived here almost all their lives and know nothing about certain parts of the city. I think that it's important to really get to know your city. Me personally, as I've mentioned in other videos, one of my objectives is to get to a point to where I can live, work, and play all in the same area. I want to get rid of my car. I really want to just use public transportation, so on and so forth. Speaking of the Q line, so it's really Detroit's second stab at public transportation or sustainable public transportation, and to be more like other cities that make it more walkable and make it to where you don't necessarily need a car if you work, live, and play all in the same area.
Hudson's is a world of its own.
Busy shoppers, a million footprints on the marble step. J.L. Hudson's was Detroit.
So if you're starting off on Jefferson, it immediately leads to Campus Martius Park, which is surrounded by more office buildings, everything that you can imagine. You'll usually find people playing chess in the park. During the weekdays, you'll have a lunch truck rush, concerts in the park. You'll find more retail. You'll find Greektown a stone's throw away, and you'll also find new apartment buildings that's being built. As of the recording of this video, they've been working on the Hudson site, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the official name of it, but essentially it's going to be the tallest building in Detroit when it's done. This is a task that's being taken on by Dan Gilbert, founder of Quicken Loans, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and being built by Bedrock Detroit, which is one of the many holding companies for Dan Gilbert. And though you may be tempted to stop at the Nike store and another important staple within Detroit, Shinola, which they've just recently built the hotel, you definitely want to stop at a store called Detroit is the New Black.
Detroit in 2013. I worked for Saks in the buying office for about 5 years, and I moved to Singapore to work as a retail consultant. So I printed these shirts with this logo. I gave them just to my friends, like 10 shirts or so. I gave them out for Christmas gifts. I wrapped them, gave them, and they wore them, and people just started to ask, like, what is this? Stopping them in the airport, where can I buy this? What's happening? So it just became a thing. I started selling them like at the markets, Eastern Market, down in the alley, just around the city, and it just started to take. It really has taken on a life of its own and gotten bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I'm standing here on Woodward Avenue in this space is like, oh my God.
All of her stuff is so dope. It's super dope, and the store is super dope. I'm telling y'all, when you come down and you watching this video and you down in the city and you down in Detroit, if you don't stop here, then I don't even want to talk to you no more. I don't even want to talk.
And the next several blocks to the north turned into perhaps the saddest stretch of real estate in the city. Ugly, empty lots and boarded-up buildings with only an occasional going concern.
Moving a little bit further down, you'll find Grand Circus, the Fox Theater, which is directly across from Comerica Park. Also, Little Caesars Arena is right down the street, and the Little Caesars headquarters, which they've recently built right next to the Fox Theater. That whole area is pretty much owned by the Illages, who own the Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers. I don't know if you guys can see that Wayne State building right next to Little Caesars Arena, which is the Mike Ilitch School of Business. And then you got all of these different developments over here. It's so funny because it used to be vacant lots. Like, it's so much new construction and things going on all over here. And then you can see it mixed in right with some of the actual historic homes that wound up not getting torn down. If you look over here, these all used to be vacant lots. And then you got like another historic home that wound up not getting torn down also. These things used to go for next to nothing. Just a stone's throw away from Comerica Park and Little Caesars Arena and Wayne State and everything like that. Right in the heart of Midtown is new development and things coming and happening right in the middle of the city. As you continue to move down Woodward, you'll run into Midtown, and Midtown is really awesome. One of my favorite shops there is Great Lakes Coffee. Also, one of my favorite restaurants lie within Midtown, and that's Hopcat. Midtown is very unique because it pretty much houses Wayne State, and it houses unique businesses, restaurants, different environments where a lot of people are not necessarily familiar with. The majority of the development within, I would say, the last 7 years has primarily been in downtown Detroit, Corktown, Midtown, and moving further north down Woodward. As you pass through Midtown, that's the end of the queue line.
Crime has always been a reality on Woodward, especially at night in this neighborhood. Nearly every kind of vice and illicit compound are available to those who wish to pay the price.
So we continue further north, and you are still in Detroit, but you're approaching Highland Park. Highland Park, as mentioned before, is like a city within the city of Detroit. It's not a lot in Highland Park right now, and I don't necessarily recommend that you guys go and visit Highland Park because that's not necessarily a place for tourists at the moment. I'm not really sure how I feel about gentrification, because like there's pros and cons to everything, but Highland Park is definitely a place that I would advocate for gentrification if I had to. I'm not advising anybody stop over in Highland Park and pay a visit to it unless you go into some of the shops that's on Woodward or something like that, but it's probably a more accurate representation of a lot of the places in urban America that definitely need some change and need some tender love and care, some TLC. But yeah, I know a few homies over here in Highland Park. They're actually doing some really, really positive and good things, but that's definitely not what this video is about right now. Highland Park is definitely a city that you drive through. If you don't know nothing about Highland Park, don't go up in the hoods and stuff like that. Trying to be cool, trying to explore, urban exploration. That's all I can really tell you. But you do pass through Highland Park before you get through 6 Mile, 7 Mile, and 8 Mile of Detroit. And once you cross 8 Mile, you move outside of Detroit. Then you move into Ferndale when you're starting to approach Royal Oak. Hopefully I've given you guys some interesting insight into Woodward Avenue. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me throughout the whole video. If you want to see additional content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And in addition to that, make sure you hit the bell so that you get notifications when I drop new videos. I'm switching it up a little bit. Any ideas that you guys have, make sure you hit me up. You know all my social media, you know my email address, you know my website, AntonDaniels.com. Again, I appreciate you guys. I'll holler at you later. Peace.